How you doing today, Drew?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. So we're gonna pick up where we left off last time.
Okay, excellent.
How is everything going with Andrea?
Well, I'd say things are alright. I mean, there's a lot of things that have been happening lately with her. There's a lot of things that have been happening lately with her. It's just a very touchy subject, just because we've been getting into a lot of arguments and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, it's up and down, to be honest with you.
Okay. So what was your latest argument about?
Our latest argument was about sex.
Sex.
Yes.
Okay, this is touchy with couples, especially with one that you've been with for a long time.
Exactly.
What is happening there?
She just sometimes is just like she says certain things during sex, and she just does things that makes me not feel like I'm like good enough for her. And she pops little comments here and there, and says things to me that really affect me, and I act a certain way towards it. But it's just really. Hold on, excuse me. Sorry about that.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean, it's just she really says things that know it's gonna beat me up, and I really feel like it's just not gonna work out because I just don't feel good enough for her that I can fulfill all her needs, you know?
Sure. That's very frustrating because, especially with intimacy, you could feel that there is a sense of ineptness that you not only are not fulfilling her sexually but also emotionally. They tie in very closely together. Now, does she say things out of frustration, or is she just not feeling pleasured, or
She says things out of frustration most of the time, but I don't know. It's just like I can never get it with her anymore. Like we're always like off balance. Like she's feeling one way, I'm feeling the other way, and it just goes back and forth like vice versa.
do you feel that it's like cat and mouse?
Honestly, I do. Like it's like I'm catching up or she's catching up, and it really feels. I feel like it's my part. To be honest with you, I don't know why, but I just feel the one guilty in most of it. It's just I don't know. It's just certain things I feel like I just don't succeed. She makes me feel like I fail in a lot of areas, you know.
So, in what areas does she besides sex? What else does she?
Like school, work, like she wants me to do better and get a better job, and sometimes she makes fun of me for working at a restaurant, and it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like I'm trying to make ends meet, whatever I can, and I don't know, it's just other things, school, she makes fun of, sometimes she makes fun of it, like makes fun of me in certain situations, and it's just, for me, it just like, it ticks me off, and then like when I escalate, she escalates even further.
Okay, so you guys have a really good way of pushing each other's buttons.
I would say that, yes.
So is she saying that you working in a restaurant is not her idea of what she wants of you? And that now you're only taking a couple classes, and I know that she has a PhD. Is she in a way belittling you? Do you feel that she's...
Honestly, I do, but I really don't want to believe that she looks at me like that. Like I sometimes feel to myself like, oh, she cares about me and stuff like that. But then when she throws these like smart remarks or she says certain things, it just beats me down and makes me feel like I'm like not even worthy to be with her sometimes.
Wow. Okay, that's a very strong statement that you say, because I can tell that you love her, which is why you're in here trying to be good enough. But it sounds like you don't lean on the table.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
But it sounds that you are extremely frustrated with your interactions, and that you are leading yourself to believe that you are this incompetent, impotent, and not intelligent person for her. Now, why do you? Because she's making you believe that, or do you truly believe that?
I feel like I really didn't think about some of the things I did until she came and started saying certain things. So I really believe that she's pointing things out and she's saying certain things, and maybe it's getting my thoughts going, but I feel like it's both ways. But
Okay.
honestly, it's from her saying things that it really gets me thinking, it gets me into a negative place.
Now, you two have been together for, I'm sorry, how long?
About 7 years.
7 years. That's a very long time for her to just now be getting on you about, all of these issues. Now, would you be able to tell me about a time where things were great between you and Andrea?
Yeah, it was the summer, I would say 2005.
Okay, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Were we?
Are you sure it was 2005? You guys were only together.
You know what? You're right. It's 2009.
Okay.
Sorry, I mixed up the two. I was thinking about somebody else.
Okay. We don't have to talk about that person today, but.
All right. But yeah, it was me and her, and we just got done. I just surprised her to the max. Like, I surprised her with the honeymoon vacation, and sort of say I surprised her with like all these gems and jewels, and I surprised her with a bunch of things. You know, I spent tons of money on her. And she was like the most happiest I've ever seen her. And I still can't get her that happy to this day.
Do you think it was just the material that she was happy about? Or do you think that it was, you guys were truly at a place in your relationship where those things were just extra?
I feel like it was, no. To be honest with you, that still plays on my mind. I want to believe that it was just going with the time. But I really believe another part of me says it's materialistic.
Okay. So it sounds that you are just trying to get back to how good things were. Now, how long have you been trying to do that?
I've been doing this for, I'd say about 2 years.
2 years? Okay, so you guys have been very, very happy for 5, and you've just been rough the last 2.
Yes.
Now, good days and bad. Tell me about your best day that you have with her lately.
There haven't been any, to be honest with you.
So it sounds like there needs to be a little bit of reevaluation. How is your communication with Andrea?
Our communication, it lacks, to be honest with you. It's like either she's not ready to talk or I'm not ready to talk, or we just meet and butt heads. And it just seems like we're always off timing with each other.
So, okay, so you feel that you guys speak at the most inappropriate times.
Yes.
So why do you think that, what sets her off? Is it usually her that goes off? Is it you that pushes the talking subject?
I push the talking subject, of course. She's very quiet to herself, and I usually try to get a conversation going, and then it's something I would say or do that I could see it triggers her.
So do you mean to come off a certain way, or?
No, I don't. It's just whatever I do, something that just upsets her at the time being, gets her upset.
So it works out better when you think of it. It works out better when you say it in your head, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So in the way that she speaks to you, it sounds that she's cutting down the things that you're saying, which frustrates her even more.
Yes.
Okay. So that's pretty tough. And it almost sounds as if you are the only one working toward this relationship. So, what do you think that you can do to either help her improve her behavior, or help yourself, stop thinking these negative things about you? I'd kind of like to talk about why you have this poor self-image of yourself.
Okay. I don't know anything that I can do to help myself stop thinking, so poorly of myself. But I've gone through a rough history, especially with my dad not being there. But I grew up with my 4 sisters, and they kind of raised me and helped me out. So I don't know. I just feel like I just.
So what you're saying is that you feel that you're giving her your best. I mean, growing up with 4 sisters, and of course taking care of your mother since your dad left, it's got to be a hard task being the only guy in the family.
Yeah.
You know how to take initiative and play a role that you can be there for somebody. You can provide stability and happiness, and I'm sure with 4 girls in the house, 5 girls including your mother, that there was a lot of crying, a lot of tears all the time. We're women, we're emotional, yes. So you're used to putting up with that. But it sounds like Andrea is the one that is giving you that's giving you the biggest challenge. Okay. Well, honestly, I want you to see this through somebody else's perspective. I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, when you and Andrea first started getting together, you had the confidence that she liked. Yeah. She knew that you were everything that she needed, and you knew that you had to have her, and she loved that about you. So you have your confidence. You can use your confidence to basically get yourself through this, to get yourself to stop thinking that you're not worthy. You also, again, grew up with 5 females in the house. You are more than qualified to be a amazing boyfriend to her, and you're open-minded. So anything that Andrea feels that she can say, that needs to say to you, you need to let her know. You can say these things because you're going to try and understand her. You're going to try and understand her standpoint, and you're going to try and, you know, work on these issues. And if she's being stubborn, then you want to be able to communicate with her why she needs to stop being stubborn and just work on things. So it sounds like most of this root is stemming from communication. So let's brainstorm together what kind of communication skills you want to portray to her. What is the first thing you want Andrea to know about this whole relationship, how you feel right now?
That I love her.
That you love her. That's a great first thing to say. And maybe you can start off with that. You know, that love is a very powerful emotion. So you can definitely tell her, Andrea, I love you. There is no second guessing that statement. There's no underpinning. There's no gray area. It's a bold, I love you. And you could start there. And if that doesn't get her attention to having a productive conversation with you, then, you know, maybe she needs to come to counseling. But she can also turn around and start snapping at you, like you're telling me that she is. How do you respond to that? Do you yell back?
I mean, I kind of, at first I stay quiet, and then she persists, and then I just lose my temper. I say things, or I'll get angry and throw something, or do something violent sometimes, and it's just probably not the healthiest.
So, right, effective communication. And you want to, when she stabs at you, you know, when she picks at you and you know, pulls your trigger, how you want to change the way that you respond to that.
Yes.
Okay, so change response.
Well, thank you for coming to see me today, by the way.
Oh.
I really needed it.
Yeah, of course, Drew. So you want to change your response, and you want to, now, what type of response would you be interested in having? In a way to just kind of counteract her snappiness, or in a way
to open her up.
Okay. All right, even better. Open up. All right. So, say you stop her in her tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to visualize this with me. Say you stop her in her tracks. Now you have her attention. What else would you like to tell her?
A lot of things. First, starting with why has she been acting the way and saying things towards me, and just really understanding of how she feels towards me.
So you want to help her understand her better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be a subnote. Help her understand her. Okay. All right. So what you want anyway, is basically to help yourself help this relationship.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that I do want you to know is you and Andrea have to realize that you've been in this for a long time. And if she doesn't see these issues as worth working out, then you have to sort of evaluate whether or not you should let this continue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to believe that you have a single hand in why this is going the way it is, because it sounds to me she's kind of making you believe that this is your fault. And you are believing her because you are so in love with her and you just want to make her happy. But the way that she's acting is not making you happy. So we need to start thinking about Drew a little bit more than Andrea. So we're going to start doing that.
You're right.
So we're going to finish up today, but we will meet again soon. And we're going to talk about some of the progress. We're going to see how you're doing with, you know, your effective communications, and maybe hear about how you've been helping her open up and understand what's been going on with you too.
Okay.
And we can maybe bring her in.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
Thank
All right, Joe. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Am I 14 minutes?